Boardwalk Empire. HBO presented an Atlantic City politician playing both sides of the law, conspiring with gangsters during the Prohibition era. I think I've mentioned earlier, this is a period piece, and anytime there's a project that pops up that's a period piece, it's set, in the past or set in the future. Visual effects artists just start, rubbing their hands together. It's like, all right, because one, that means there's a lot of work because these places don't actually exist anymore. And even if you find, a city somewhere like Prague, which is pretty common to shoot historical or old pictures because of its unchanged kind of inner city. Visual effects artists love it because there's always a lot of work to do to make the illusion complete. Historical and period movies always have a constant need for VFX simply because the world, cars, buildings, landmarks simply do not exist anymore. And, it's interesting, even if you found like a good angle or a good alleyway or something in a city, it's like, this would serve as 1920 Chicago, or this would serve as, 1850s New York, or whatever the case is. There's always something in there that kind of gives it away, and you have to be able to get rid of that stuff or change that stuff or alter, even if it's something as simple as satellite dishes on the roofs of things, or a building, skyscraper that's in the distance that just is ruining the illusion, ruining the shot. So there's always lots of work involved when it comes to VFX for period films, which is great. The challenge of this show was to create the New Jersey shore of the 1920s and 30s. The pilot episode was directed by Martin Scorsese and produced at a cost of $18 million. That's just for the pilot. That was a lot of money back when this show came out, not too long ago. But now, with episodic television, episodic streaming platforms, Netflix and Hulu, HBO, all kicking out their own original content, that's not a lot of money at all nowadays. I believe Game of Thrones still holds the record for the most expensive television show, but it looks like the new Lord of the Rings show is going to give it a run for its money. And they certainly have a lot of money, these new production companies. Brainstorm Digital, the visual effects producer Richard Friedlander, who is in charge of this show, he says, we actually started many months in advance. The producers knew that nothing from this world 100 years ago really existed today in exactly the right form, and so Atlantic City has become a very modern resort area that actually has nothing left from that era that Boardwalk Empire series takes place in. Our big concern, he says, was the blue screen. And we're going to show you some before and afters as I tell you a little bit more about what they were doing and the challenges involved in creating this show. We found, he continues, that the ocean and the beach plates never quite captured the actual lighting that would tie in correctly with the principal photography. So it made a lot of sense to completely art direct all the skies and all the lighting and all the clouds to get exactly the look that they're looking for. Here they are shooting on the beach. I always recommend shooting outside if you're going to have an outside scene. Sunlight is really hard to duplicate inside, and the human eye, even people who aren't well versed in visual effects or critically analyzing visual effects will see the difference. But you're going to be outside, shoot it outside, because there's really in my opinion, no substitute for direct sunlight. This show and the company, they received a VES, Visual Effects Society Award for Outstanding Supporting Visual Effects in a Broadcast Program for the show. Fantastic work. Not just in the keying, but of course in the comping, the art direction, and getting exactly the kind of look that they're looking to get. So, like I mentioned earlier, another huge advantage of set extensions is not just moving the camera around, but exactly art directing exactly what you want to see and not having to settle for what's there. Francis Ford Coppola is famous for just kind of shooting and using the weather for whatever the weather is. In the famous scene in The Godfather Part 1, where Tom Hagen was kidnapped by enemies of the family, it really started to snow quite a bit. And, you know, you don't plan for it, but he's like, just shoot it. This is weather. Weather happens, so shoot in the snow. Why not? And I think it added quite a lot to the scene. But if you needed a specific mood and perhaps a shot like this, and the day of the shoot was just a beautiful, glorious sunset that just didn't fit the mood of the shot, you'd be stuck with it. Or you have to shoot another time, which can be very, very expensive. So blue screen, green screen outside really allows you to dictate to say, no, we need storm clouds, you know, for an impending doom, a metaphor for what's going on here. Really gives you tons of creative freedom to get just the kind of visualization that you need in the actual program. Let's take a look at some beautiful work from Boardwalk Empire.